Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ronan and I make a lot of vlogs and product and tech reviews. And in today's video, I want to talk about the iPhone 13. And I actually have an iPhone 13 right here. So this is the iPhone 13 in pink. And the reason that I have a pink iPhone here is that my fiance Elaine got the new iPhone 13 just this morning, and she very kindly is allowing me to unbox it here on my channel for you guys so you can see what it's like straight out of the box. All of the time codes are in the description below, so if there's a section that you guys want to jump ahead to, just check out the description and you'll find it there. Now, just for some background, Elaine has been using the iPhone 7, this is Elaine's iPhone 7 here. She's been using this for about 4.5 years, and I don't know, it must have been listening to her over Christmas or whatever, where she was saying that it's still going strong, because it has started to die and she's having lots of problems with it, specifically with recording voice memos and taking photos. It's not really working anymore. It's gotten really slow for her, and yeah, it's just not living up to what she needs it to do. So the only thing left to do now is see what this thing is like out of the box. Like all Apple products at the moment, these are no longer covered in plastic. There's just a little tab here and a little tab here that we just rip away. So now that those are off, this should just... Oh yeah, wow. This is lovely. So this is the iPhone 13 in pink. And we have this little cardboard sticker, it just very gently peels away. And it is beautiful. So it's fully black on the front, and then it's like a real pale pink on the back and the sides. It's really nice, and it has an aluminium frame around the side here, and then it's got a glass back for charging and obviously a glass front for the screen. And then also in the box we have the charging cable. So the charging cable for this phone is a lightning connector on the end that goes into the phone, and these are now USB Type-C to go into the brick. This doesn't come with the charging brick, which means that the packaging can be much neater and much smaller. And then in here we have the SIM eject tool, a single Apple sticker, and just some paperwork about the phone, like, you know, user information, stuff that no one's ever gonna read. And that is everything that comes with the iPhone 13. Straight away, first impressions of this are that it is beautiful. So it's kind of matte on the sides and glossy at the back, which is just a really nice look for the phone, and it just looks really clean and really nice. And then you've got the two cameras here, and these are now in a diagonal position, which they've been on the last couple of phones, whereas with my iPhone XS they were horizontal. The lenses on this phone are much bigger than they are on my phone, and the little microphone here for capturing audio if you're shooting any video is also much bigger than it is on my old XS. My first impressions of this phone are that it is lovely. It's really nice. It's a really nice weight and size, and it feels really nice to hold in your hand. It's nicely balanced, and straight away, because Apple have gone back to these flat edges, which they actually went back to on the iPhone 12, so last year's phones had these flat edges as well, compared to the rounded edges that are on my XS or on Elaine's old iPhone 7. These flat edges make the phone much easier to hold in your hand than this phone here. It feels a little bit thicker, and when I put the two phones together, I'm not actually sure that it is thicker. If it is, it's only by like a couple of millimeters. But it does feel thicker just because of those flat edges, but it definitely feels much easier to grip in your hand, whereas my phone feels super slippy when it's in your hand. And then the next observation that I have is the iPhone 13 is just a little bit heavier than the iPhone XS, which again isn't a bad thing for when it's in your hand. That extra bit of weight just means that it's easier to hold onto, which is a big deal because these things are not cheap. And then just in terms of size and comparison, Like, there's absolutely no weight in this whatsoever. This is super light compared to either of these two phones that I have here. But you can see size-wise, this new iPhone 13 is much bigger than her old iPhone 7. And in terms of just some features, like obviously this phone uses Touch ID, whereas this phone doesn't. This phone has Face ID, just like my iPhone XS. Wireless charging, which is not something that she had here. She has MagSafe, which is something that I'm really excited about. I don't even have MagSafe on this phone, but I just think MagSafe is going to change how we use our phones in future. I think it's just really going to change how we interact with our phones, and I ultimately think it will be the way that we lose this lightning connector altogether. Another quick thing just to note is that the iPhone 13 has a smaller notch than the iPhone XS, the iPhone 11, the iPhone 12. As a part of that, one thing that I never noticed before is that Apple have actually moved the speaker for your earpiece right up to the very, very top of the phone now, whereas it kind of sits in the center of the notch on my phone. The other thing that Apple have done, and I don't know why they've done this, and I'm sure there's a technical reason for it, but in terms of as a user, I don't think it's going to make any difference. They've moved the forward-facing camera from the right-hand side of the phone to the left-hand side of the phone. And then the 3 sensors that are in the notch are to the left of the camera. Whereas on my phone, one sensor was to the right of the camera and the other 2 sensors were to the left of the earpiece. So that's just like some technical stuff that obviously to do with Apple being able to shrink the notch down and make it a bit smaller, which just gives this phone a little bit more screen real estate back compared to my phone. And then also because it has the flatter edges, Apple were able to put a bigger display into this phone than my phone had. And that was also true of last year's iPhone 12. The display on this is the exact same size as the iPhone 12 within the phone, but again, it's just slightly bigger because you have that smaller notch. Okay, and then just to run through some of the technical specifications of this new iPhone 13 really quickly. The phone comes in 5 colors. So it comes in pink, which we have here. It comes in blue, it comes in, they call it midnight, but it's really black. It comes in, they call it starlight, but it's kind of a silver with a white back. And then there is the product red iPhone as well, which is just red. In terms of the screen, they call it a ceramic shield, but it just means that the screen is more durable on this phone than any previous iPhone generation. So if you drop the phone, it's just a little bit less likely to crack or break, which is great because I dropped this phone a few months ago, broke the screen, and it was an ordeal to get it fixed. This iPhone comes with a 6.1-inch Retina display, so that's just to do with the size of the screen. Retina display is the branding that iPhone have on their iPhone displays and have had, I think, since the iPhone 4. It's a really, really crisp display and it's beautiful. Next thing that's important to mention about this iPhone is it has a water rating. So this iPhone is rated for IP68. What that means is that this can be submerged in liquid for up to a depth of 6 meters for 30 minutes. So if you drop this into a sink of water, if you're doing the dishes or something, it's going to be okay for up to 30 minutes. It means that if you're out and about and it starts raining and you're on a call, you don't have to worry so much. One of the things that's probably most important for most people when they get an iPhone is the camera. So this has a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens on this camera, which is really, really great. The ultra wide lens is something that I'm really excited to see how it performs because my XS does not have an ultra wide lens. It has a zoom lens, which means you get the normal iPhone standard lens and then it can zoom into double that, which is what the 2 lenses are here. But the 2 lenses here are the standard lens and the ultra wide lens, which means that everything zooms out and you just get much more of an image in your frame, which I think is really exciting. It allows you to take much more dynamic photos than you can normally take on an iPhone, or that you've been able to take with previous generations rather. And also, if you're shooting video, having that ultra wide lens is amazing for, like, if you're making YouTube content like this, or if you're out vlogging, or just for anything like that. Having that ultra wide lens is probably much more useful than having the zoom lens. Also, what's super important about this phone is it comes with Apple's latest A15 Bionic, which is the processor in the phone, and it's just super fast. I have the same processor in my new iPad mini, and the thing is unbelievable. Like, it is lightning fast compared to my iPhone. So I'm excited for Elaine to use this, because she's had the old iPhone 7. Like, she won't know herself. It's going to be like going from walking to driving a Formula 1 car. This is going to be so fast for her. And then in terms of all the other things, it comes with all the standard Apple apps. As I already said, it uses Face ID rather than Touch ID to unlock, so that's going to be a big change for Elaine. And then all of the other standard features you would expect, like FaceTime, Apple Pay, it has all of those built into it. And then one last technical specification to mention on this iPhone. This one is the 256GB storage option. So the iPhone 13 currently comes in 3 storage capacity options. So they are 128 gigs, 256 gigs, and 512 gigabytes. Okay, so that is just a quick look at what the iPhone 13 is like out of the box. That's all I'm gonna say about it for now. So I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope you've liked it. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys in my next video.